Alright, here we are in SketchUp, and I have modeled up my dream shop. It is 35 feet wide by 60 feet long. Now, these dimensions are arbitrary at this point due to what property we can find and if there's any restrictions on the buildings. They could be more, or I don't think it's going to be more, but it could be less. So I'll bring you in, and I will say up front, I've modeled it off of Mark Spagnolo, aka the Wood Whisperer's shop design. I've had a few email conversations with him, what he's liked and disliked about it. From what I can see on his videos and in discussions with him, it seems to work well, and I'm implementing a few things that work for me and are specific to me. So we'll dive right in. Again, 35 feet by 60 feet is this design. If the building size changes, obviously the layout and everything else will have to change with it. If we look at the front, I would like to frame in garage doors for future resale. That way, if the new owners would like to put in actual garage doors, they can. That's one thing Mark did suggest. I will have wide French doors here in the front to get projects in and out of. And when you walk through, we will rotate this. So when you walk through, again, similar setup to Mark's, but the main working area here is in this corner. I may or may not have a computer like he does, or have it in a different location over here. But when you walk in, here's the main working area. The bench, I want to use this as an assembly table and just doing everyday tasks. This will be MFT3s and potentially an additional assembly table over here. Left of the door, maybe some clamps. I'm thinking putting my clamps on a rolling rack. That way I can bring them all at once to my assembly table and then go push them all back away. Over here I have vertical sheet goods storage. I don't keep a lot, but it's nice to have a dedicated place to store them. And over here is a panel saw to break down sheet goods. I've always wanted one, as it makes breaking down sheet goods so much faster and more efficient and safer. And then above that you have rough lumber storage. Again, I don't keep a lot, but it's nice to put off excess from a build and start getting an inventory built up for random projects. Continuing on this side, I have a very in-depth, a lot of storage for the miter saw station. It's not modeled accurately or anything, but there'll be wings on here for long cross cuts, and I'll be able to obviously run extremely long stock on here the way this is set up. And this layout will definitely have to be changed or tweaked as I get into the shop and see this kind of stuff. But left of the miter saw, I have a large lathe. Now, I don't only have a mini lathe right now, but you have to plan for the future. And I picked this spot because it's next to two walls, and I can mount a camera on this front wall and film down for you guys to see. So we'll head back to the center of the shop, and in the center of the shop I have my table saw. I will get 52-inch rip capacity fences for my saw. I do have a crosscut accessory for the table saw. And then on this left side, according to our view here, will be my jointer. Right now I have a 6-inch jointer. Ideally I would like at least an 8, maybe even a 10, and if I can find a good deal on something bigger, definitely take advantage of that. There's quite a bit of room here around, which I'm super excited for. And if I do know myself, I will find other machines to bring in and clutter up this space. So bigger the better. So continuing on this wall here, we have the workbench, which I need to build a very strong one. I did buy a used one on Craigslist, and it's good. It's built out of construction grade dimensional lumber. It'll suit my purpose, but I'd like to build a hard maple and maybe a Rubo style with bench crafted hardware. I really like how smooth those are. A buddy of mine made one, and just it's awesome to see in person. Continuing on this wall, I have more of the individual tools, drill press, the spindle sander, disc sander, scroll saw, and then I have a 14-inch bandsaw right now. I would like to get a second one, larger, much larger, and then dedicate that to larger radius, so I can have a wider blade, and then the little guy have a very small blade for sharp radius cuts. And then in between here, I have my planer, a drum sander, and then this is for, let's see, what is this modeling up? Maybe another sander, I believe I have modeled up for another tool. But it's escaping my mind why I put two planers in here. But we can rehash that. And then here on this back wall, I have my Clearview Cyclone Dust Collector. I will probably end up making a cabinet for this to control the sound. I've seen a lot of videos here in the recent future do a video on that, and the sound reduction is amazing. And then in this back corner is going to be kind of the CNC and router table area. The CNC and the router table both use basically the same bits, or have the ability to, so it's nice to keep them close. And then right here, this is for my current CNC Shark with extended bed. I do have plans, or hopefully have plans, to get a full-size 4x8 CNC to handle a full sheet of plywood. And if we zoom out here, it is a considerable distance to bring that sheet of plywood down there, but maybe make up some homemade dollies or whatnot. Now we get here to this little room, and in order to make this easier for you guys, I will push down this wall. Well, you get the idea. So in this little room here is going to be a dedicated finishing area. That has been a big downfall of any shop I've had, is the work area joins and shares with my finishing area. And so when I'm finishing, painting, or applying a finish of any sort, I have to shut down production in my shop so I don't create any dust and ruin the finish. If I can have this area here dedicated with a appropriate horizontal space, a large assembly table here, or excuse me, a finishing table in the middle on casters that I can roll in and out if I need more room. And then on the left hand side, I have upper and lower cabinets for storage, finishing, supplies, etc. And then here I have a fold down spray shelf that could be used for smaller items that get closer to the exhaust fan in the window. And then I do have a French door here to access the shop, and then I have plans to put a French door here on the side of the finishing area, and this will allow me to access to a concrete pad outside for outside finishing. Ideally, with this going after this concept of a separate room for this, I have been thinking about splitting this bringing this wall all the way across and then splitting it down the middle, and having one room for CNC and having the other room for finishing. When I film CNC, I have to remove the dust boot on my CNC in order to get quality video for you guys. It would be no fun watching a dust boot all the time. So when I do that, I have to juggle between filming and using a shop vac to collect the dust. With this, it creates an enormous amount of dust in my shop. Well, if I could have a separate room, I wouldn't have to be so worried about making the entire shop dusty. I can make that room specifically dusty, put in a air cleaner in there, and then a separate dust collection unit, and clean up after the fact. So that is the current layout and status of the dream shop. Whether this size and scope of work fits the budget and the land and house we purchase in the future, that is yet to be seen. But this right now is what I have my eyes set on. I would greatly encourage some constructive criticism in the comments. What do you guys like? What do you guys don't like? What would you recommend? Or potentially what would you like me to consider? So leave a question, comment, everything in the comments here down below, and we can chat, and I can maybe put up a follow-up video with some edits that you guys have suggested. So as always, if you guys enjoyed this video, please smash the like button, share, and if you haven't already, please subscribe. I appreciate you watching, and I will see you next time.